Masibheka ehamba phambili lihora abameli babamangalelwa ecaleni lokubulawa kaSenzo wabathi akungenanga mgulukude emzini adutshulelwa kuwo kunalokho wabulawa ngomunye wabantu ayihleli nabo endlini ngosuku lwesigameko.
Kukho ingxelo zokuba usekela mongameli uPaul Mashatile usenokuba bekwinqwelo mafutha yeBlue Light ngethuba onogada bakhe babanjwa kwikhamera bebetha abantu kola wendlela uN1 eGauteng ekuqaleni kwale nyanga.
Bobaba senza umehluko bobaba asenza umehluko bobaba asenza umehluko bobaba asenza umehluko bobaba asenza umehluko bobaba babe bobaba banempela abaneqiniso abaneqiniso bobaba bangempela sikhuluma ngamadoda enza umehluko sikhuluma ngamadoda enza umehluko sikhuluma ngamadoda enza umehluko sikhuluma ngamadoda enza umehluko sikhuluma ngamadoda enza umehluko. Siyabingelela kubabukeli Ekhaya Jikelele sithi ke hlalani ninethezeke siyikholwa brothers siyabonga.
Ithimba labameli babasolwa ecaleni lokubulawa kaSenzo wabamile kwelokuthi umuntu owadubula uMeyiwa wabe eyingxenye yabantu abe ehleli nabo endlini. Kanti ke namhlanje bazoqhubeka ukupheka ngembuzo uZandile Khumalo ongufakazi zombuso kuleli icala enkantolo ephakeme ehleli ePitoli. Bahlana balisa ababhekene nezinsolo zokusoconga uMeyiwa owabe unozinto weOrlando Pirates neBafana Bafana. Ngesikhathi ke efakaza izolo uZandile uye waqophisana ngamazwi nabameli babasolwa.
The reason why you are failing to give a full description of the hurt of the second suspect, including the color of the hoodie that the second suspect was wearing, is because there was no second suspect. You are fabricating the story.
Kungoba ke ukuthi istory nje lesi osakhayo ke ingakho ke ungakwazi ukuthi uchaze umbala noma uchazeke leso siqhoko leso ngoba kwakungekho ususpect wesibili into nje oyakhayo.
Kusho wena advocate Msholo la yimi.
That's what you are saying, advocate Msholo, not me.
And angikhumbula ukuthi ngasuka la ngisuka khona ngizobhorekela enkantolo.
And I don't think I would come from wherever I'm coming from just to come and get bored here in court
and lie to the court.
Kukho ingxelo zokuba usekela mongameli uPaul Mashatile usenokuba bekwinqwelo mafutha yeBlue Light ngethuba onogada bakhe babanjwa kwikhamera bebetha abantu kuwola wendlela uN1 eGauteng ekuqaleni kwale nyanga. Umbutho ke iDemocratic Alliance utyhola uMashatile ngokulahlekisa ilizwe emva kokuba iofisi yakhe ikhuphe ingxelo. Isithi ke wayengekho kunye neqela lezokhuseleko ngethuba kusenzeka esisehlo. Lamagosa sibhozo avele phambi kwenkundla kaMantyi yaseRandburg phezolo ngezityholo ezahlukeneyo eziquka ukubetha, ukonakalisa impahla nokukhomba abantu ngemipu. Isicelo sebheyile sihlehlisiwe ngomso.
Sisekuzo ezenzeke inkantolo kulindeleke ukuthi benze izethulo namhlanje abameli bommangalelwa osolwa ngokuba ngomunye wobhongoza ababeshoshozela izibhelu ezaqubuka ngo-2021. Izolo umbuso okuphothulile ukwenza izethulo kuleli icala elibhekene noMdumseni Zuma enkantolo yesifunda saseMgungundlovu KwaZulu-Natal. uZuma uliphekile icala lokuphehla udweshu emphakathini kanye nelokushisa elimayelana nokuthungelwa ngomlilo wenqanqathela yezitolo iBrookside eMgungundlovu. Le nqanqathela yaqhamuka amalanga eziyishumi nambili kuNtulikazi emva kosuku nje uZuma ebonakale kuvideo enxenxa ukuba kuyodala isiphithiphithi kule nqanqathela yezitolo. Ngaleso sikhathi uZuma wabe esebenza kule ndawo njengonogada nakuba ke ekuvuma ukuthi wayiqopha le video kepha uyakuchitha ukuthi wabe ungqondongqondo oshoshozela udlame olwaholela ekutheni ngqungqiswe ngomlilo lenqanqathela yezitolo.
Abaqhankqalazi abaquka amatshantliziyo LGBTQIQA+, umbutho wabafundi be-DA kunye namalungu eSASCO babambe uqhankqalazo kwisifundo sikawonke-wonke kwidyunivesithi yaseKapa phezolo. Abaqhankqalazi bebechasa ubukho besithethe esiphambili unjingalwazi waseKenya uPatrick Lumumba ongumxhasi womthetho ochasene nabantu abathandana ngesini esifanayo. Ukucula novuyo lwabalandeli be-EFF ngaphandle kweholo, iSarah Baartman e-UCT kurhaqwe ngamazwi abo bachasa ubukho bukanjingalwazi uPatrick Lumumba kwikhampasi yabo. Ilizwe lase-Uganda lapasisa umthetho wawo ochasene nabathandana ngesini esifanayo ngoMeyi uchazwa ke ngabaninzi njengokucinezela abantu.
Isiqala ukuthela izithelo ezinhle imizamo yophiko lwamaphoyisa olukhethekile yokuqeda ubugebengu obenzeka emngceleni wakuleli esifundeni sasemkhanyakude kwaZulu Natal. Lokho ke kusho ungqongqoshe wamaphoyisa uJenene ubhekicele njengoba ethi sekuboshwe abasola abangaphezulu kwekhulu ababandakanyeka ezenzweni zobugebengu kule ndawo. Phezulu kwalokhu ezinyangeni ezimbalwa ezedlule kutholakale imoto engaphezulu kwekhulu nama-20 ebezizokweqiswa umngcele. Abantu abakhele umngcele ohlukanisa iningizimu Afrika kanye neMozambique sekuphela iminyaka bebhekene nobugebengu kulomngcele. Amaqembu emgulukudu awasagcini njeke ngokuthi adune imoto kepha sehlasela nezakhamuzi emizini yazo. NgoNhlolanja nonyaka kwadutshulwa kwashona uJuda Mthethwa, isishoshovu esabe silwisana nalobu bugebengu. Kukholakala ke ukuthi ukubulawa kwakhe kwabe kuyamene nokumelana kwakhe nezenzo zobugebengu kulomngcele. Kanti ngaphandle kwabantu ababoshiwe, amaphoyisa aphinde ashaqane ibhame ngama-20 nesishagalolunye.
Umongameli uCyril Ramaphosa uthi indawo ezininzi zelilizwe zithe qolo ukufumana inkonzo ezingenhle ngenxa yokusilela kweziseko ezingundoqo zoluntu. Kwileta yakhe yeveki eya eluntwini, uRamaphosa uphawule ukuba uMzantsi Afrika ukwinqanaba eliphezulu kwizalathisi ezipapashwe yiBhanki yoPhuhliso yase-Afrika evavanya umgangatho wezothutho, umbane, i-ICT kunye neziseko zoncedo zamanzi kunye nogutyulo lwelindle. Wongeze ngelithi iziseko zophuhliso zidlala indima ebalulekileyo eqinisekiseni ukukhula koqoqosho nokuphelisa intlupheko. Nangona kunjalo ulumkise ukuba ulondolozo olufanelekileyo nolukusebenza kufuneka luqhutywe ukuze iziseko zophuhliso zihlangabezane neenjongo zophuhliso lwesizwe.
Abanye ababambe iqhaza emkhakheni wezamandla bachaze umthetho sivivinyo okuchibiyela ukulawula kogesi njengomthetho obalulekile wokunciphisa ukucishwa kogesi. Lo mthetho sivivinyo wethulwe ePhalamende ungqongqoshe wezamandla namagugambi wayo uGwede Mantashe njengoba iOscom iqhubeka nohlelo lokucisha konga ugesi.
Umongameli we-ANC uCyril Ramaphosa ukhuphe umyalelo kwinkokheli entsha yephiko lamanina kulombutho ukuba igxile kakhulu eqinisekiseni ukuba amanina ayakwazi ukuzimela ekuhlaleni. UCC Tolashe uchongwe ukuba ajongane necandelo lamanina.
Zingaphezulu kwenkulungwane ezintathu ithunywa zophiko labesifazane ku-ANC eziqoka upholo obusha. UCC Tolashe uyena ozohola lolu phiko ulunga igcabashe uzoba yiphini lakhe uNokuthula Nqaba usengunobhala Jikelele kuthi uDinapule abe yiphini likanobhala Jikelele kanti uMakhwini Leshole Mothai uzobhekela isikhwama salolu phiko. Umengameli waleli qembu uCyril Ramaphosa uthi kufanele abesifazane bayivulele bona amathuba kwezomnotho.
We must therefore make sure that, yes, women do have access to financial and economic assets and resources.
uRamaphosa uthi uphiko lwabesifazane kumele kube yilona oluqinisekisa ukuthi abantu abaningi bayavota ngonyaka ozayo.
You are the people who are going to ensure that the ANC gets an outstanding victory in the elections that we are going to. You are the army that the ANC has. And I want you to play that role with dignity, with confidence, with respect, and making sure that in the end, the ANC does emerge victorious.
uRamaphosa uphinde wanxusa uphiko lwabesifazane ukuthi ligweme uqhekeko ukuze lolu phiko luye phambili. Ihlandla lesibili lenqungquthela kulindeleke ukuthi libanjwe ngohlelo lwezobuchwepheshe ukuze kuzokwamukelwa nemigomo yophiko phinde kumenyezelwe namanye amalungu angeziwe.
Ngaphambi kokuba uphume mbukeli, rhabula ufince kuqikelelo lwemozulu.
Sikwamukele mbukeli Ekhaya Jikelele usahlezi nayo unoxolo kanjalo no Madlongothi unonkanyezi ave ungichaza xa uthi unonkanyezi usho ngesizulu hawe manje ke mbukeli wami siyangena phela kwezihamba phambili kumakhasi onxibelelwano xa sijonge ke pha ku Twitter uadvocate Zandile Mshololo uThotshenka kuba kaloku ke uyachaza into yokubana ngomnye ke wabantu abamele abatyholwa abahlanu ngokubulayo kwentshatsheli yebhola ekhatywayo uSenzo Meyiwa. Uthi ke akaqinisekiswa bubungqina abunikwe nguye uZandile Khumalo ubuzawuthi kangoku uyatsho ke into yokubana jonga umnqwazi awuqini konke kodwa ke uZandile umile kwelokuba yena uthetha inyani asoze abe kanti uyayixotyisa inkundla. Ubungqina bakhe ke uZandile uyatsho into yokubana yena kwangena izikrelemnqa ezimbini pha kwikhaya lakhe laseFolloras omnye ke wabulala ngomnye kwaba ngowabulala uMeyiwa. Kodwa ke into endiqonda uba iyamkhwanqisa uZandile Mshololo kukuba kutheni nje angachazi umbala womnye wabarhanelwa. Kodwa ke uyangqina into yokubana yena hayi kwaqhuma izithonga ezintathu ngobobusuku kodwa uadvocate uthi hayi akaqinisekanga ngale ngxala yinikezayo. Hayi ngimbonile lo advocate uyithulele wakanxumalo hayi bambiza ngeblack mamba. Hayi ngiyakutshela maseyishana imibuzo yayo hayi ngiyakutshela kuba njeyana ke siboneke ukuthi batheni ke ku Twitter ke weMakholi mayelana nalodaba lukaZandile. Ugiyani Makhubela uthi advocate Mshololo mopped the floor with Zandi and kuzoshuba today. Uyaphefumula ke naye crime has no nation. Uyatsho into yokubana advocate Mshololo cannot be easily intimidated by the arrogance of the state witness. Court of laws deals with the evidence presented, not personal feelings. Key witness Zandile Khumalo cannot describe the Houthi and expects the court to believe her testimony. Jani usho njalo impela ukuthi ena uZandile ulindele kanjani ukuthi inkantolo imkholelo kulokho akusho kulofakazi bakho bengawazi nokwazi nje ukusho ukuthi phela lo msolwa athi wangena wadubula umeyiwa wayenxibe esinjani
okukombala ke ongenani
okungenani ke noma ungasabonanga okunye kodwa nje ke umbala walomuntu ngaphela uyakhumbula
ewe wabo
sigameke sibhlungu kangaka kuvame ukuthi mhlawumbe sihlale engqondweni yakho isikhathi eside ungasheshe ulibala kodwa ke siyobona khona ukuthi uyozala ngomoni unela Kubega yena uthi it's the cross-examination of a murder trial and that's the highest offense in this case. You cannot have inconsistent versions of the truth when testifying. Mushololo is doing an exceptional job, more especially for the accused.
Ziyakhala phayana bayatsho into kubana njani ungayazi into kodwa ubuyibonile. I-versions ziyazitshintsha ngokutshintsha.
Uncoma u-advocate Zandile Mshololo ukuthi cha umsebenzi wakhe uyancomeka. Yeah. Olunye kudaba lihamba phambili ke Kholosa nawe mbukele ekhaya olika Twitter angisazi noma ngithi Twitter noma ngithi x.com
hayi ngu-x.com Elon Musk uthethe kwavovotheka wathi iyaguqula ikhasi ngoku
usabele waguqula ke indlela ebukeka ngayi Twitter uElon Musk kanti abantu abenemeke bathi ke akahlukane phansi nalenkundla izoxhumana ngoba phela wena Kholosa ucabanga nje ukuthi mhlawumbe ngabadida yini abantu lokho njengoba phela uTwitter sekuzobonakala uphawu ka X ilogo kusho ukuthi ilogo nje sishintshile akusafani nokuthi uTwitter seku-X
uba izoba nguTwitter uyangqina ke wena ndixelela nokusi no-COO uLinda Hyakireni into yokubana le rebranding lelinye lamanyathelo kwinguqu eqhubekayo kaTwitter umgcima kaloku wonkcenkcetshela kwi-internet kubantu into yobana bakwazi into yokubana banxibelelane ingakumbi ngoku bethi bazawufaka nezinto ezifana no-banking kuyo u-x.com
hayi u-Elon unamaqhinga yena hayi phela unawo amaqhinga lezinto lezobuchwepheshe kuukuthi ke phela abantu mabengeneme vele into entsha ke mengabe isafika Kholosa vele abantu bayakhuluma bengayithandi ngoba sebejwayelele indala so mhlawumbe naye lo x.com bazomjwayela ke ake sizwe futhi ukuthi luthini uluvo lomunye wabasebenzisi baka Twitter
uyatsho phayana ke usibonisa ke umfanekiso esitsho into yokubana before Elon Musk after Elon Musk so siyayibona phala ntaka ka tweet into yokubana iyabhabha akungu Elon Musk nanko andanoba
ibheke
noba ilele
kusho ukuthi kuphela lokuyinyoni sekufika uX uthini uChris Gonya yena uthi now what are we supposed to call these things uzawuzibiza ngo-x.com
ku-x.com you'll adapt ndasekhaya yikho enye indlela uElon Musk xa ithethile uthethile
hey kumnandi ukuba yi-owner ye-something sana ngoba nje uyayibiza wenza lokhu namhlanje kusasa wenza lokhu siyathemba kaya ababukeli bakithi bazojwayela u-x.com ngoba phela u-Elon into yakhe ayenzayo olunye ke udaba lokugcina ke luhamba phambili makholi ke ulu-serious ke mina nje ndiyanicangqazela sana olwe-South African National Defence Force ungqongqoshe wezokuvikela uThandi Modise uthi izinto ziyaqhubeka nokungahambi kahle embuthweni wezokuvikela kanti ke futhi ke weKholosa kunongoti othi nje uma ngathiwa amanye amazwe ahlasela iNingizimu Afrika hayi iNingizimu Afrika ngeke izikwazi ukuyivikela uyabona
kuba lokhu ne-SANDF iye yabangathi iyabuthathaka imadolo nzima kakhulu ngenxa yokucuthwa kohlahlo lwabiwo-mali olumandla kodwa yena ke uModise uyachaza into yokubana oku kuzawuvuselela i-SANDF kuya kufuna nendlela ebanzi equka imiba eyahlukeneleyo equka nobunkokheli nenkxaso-mali uqoqosho kunye nocwangciso lobuchule
cha yazi ngaba umqondo omusha kusafuneke omuhle kusazomele ukuthi simthole nongqongqoshe lapha endabeni yabona ukuthi azosichazela phela ngoba yey ezokuphepha zemqwa kakhulu ezweni umbutho ozokuvikela ubambe elikhulu iqhaza ukuze siphephe uyabona nje nasisikhungo lesesikuthi SABC esisakaza kuyo you know i-SANDF nayo umsebenzi ukuthi ivikele nabantu bonkana nje eNingizimu Afrika manje mangabe kukhona umuntu ozothi hey mangathiwa siyahlaselwa lapha singaphela sonke hey ngeke uhlala ungaqhaqhazeli
kungekho bavikeli
ake sibone ukuthi bathini ke abantu ku Twitter ngalolo daba lo SANDF uthi uWayne the SANDF is barely a military force I describe it as a parliamentary noma as a paramilitary at best remember when they struggled to quell the Lesotho army and that was in the late 90s CAR was the hashtag African National Congress Vietnam highly embarrassing for the reputation of the communist regime hayi lo uxa ngodaba lakudala ukuthi ngama-90s uthini omunye olandelayo
Matthews yaphefumula esithi SANDF would run and leave us like that
cabanga sana
singasheka sinto
ney'ngane sibalekele phina
hayi mawehle
Eyakugcina-ke uDanny Ferron uthena the SANDF does not exist for defense purposes only. KZN showed that when natural disaster hits or widespread looting happens, the SANDF does not have the capability to support citizens. That is their function when no border threat exists. There is no SANDF. Hey, uyambona ubalula udaba olukhulu ukuthi thina sicabanga nje ukuthi masingahlaselwa amazwe kuphela. Izinto ezifana nezinto ezenzeka kwaZulu-Natal, ikhukhula, nangalento kwenzeka looting, kutatshwa ezitolo, kwabonakala lapho ukuthi abanawo amandla ukuthi bangamelana nezimo ezinjengazo. So
xa ndiva ePaula nje enikhumbuza isiganeko sako COVID-19 nje bekhalaza nje bayekhalaza abantu ngo-COVID-19 besithi into okubana iphakama ngoku abantu besengxakini kwaye ayibonakali ingathi kanti iyabavikela, instead iyabahlambalaza.
Seke kodwa selokho siqhubeka nje sibone ukuthi baqhubeka bathini ngabantu einkundleni zokuxhumana. Mbukeli ke ukhumbula ukuthi nawe ungakwazi ukuthi ke uxhumane nathi la ekhaya jikelele einkundleni zethu zokuxhumana. Siyathanda ukuzwa ngezimvo zenu. Sikamkele mbukeli ekhaya jikelele sibonke ukuthi usahlanganyele kanye nathi. Mbukeli icrash ukukhangwa noma ukuthatheka okunamandla kodwa ke okuvame ukuhlala isikhashana. Mbukeli wake wakhangwa noma wakhanga othile lapho usebenza khona. Ingabe kuyinto evamile yini uthi ube necrash emsebenzini? Ababukeli baphawulile ke ngokuthi ungambona kanjani umuntu othathekile uwena emsebenzini? Akasiza ukuthi baphawule bathini ngaphambi kokuthi sixoxisane nesivakashi sethu namhlanje.
Ngunkululeko kaMpofana. If ufuna ukubona ukuthi icolleague yakho iyakufuna or ifuna ungaphezulu kokube icolleague, uyayibona ngokuthi ifuna ukwenzela umsebenzi owenzayo, ichitha isikhathi esiningi nawe, ikuthengele nama lunch konke lokho. Kuma experience mina ngabona ngalokho ukuthi no, lo muntu lona ufuna ungaphezulu kokube icolleague ngoba nje akapheli emehlweni hlale ufuna ukuba nje seduze kwami.
Umuntu mofuna ukumbona emsebenzini ukuthi uyakufuna umbona the way ayikutha ngakhona, akakutreat fana nabanye abantu basemsebenzini. Ufuna ukuhlala anawe, ufuna ukuhlala every time, ufuna ukuhlala abana wena nje kuphela, even though anabangani bakhe mawundlula uyakhona ukubona ukuthi la itopic yini.
Igama lami ngingu-Abigail wakaMothwa. Mangabe ufuna ukubona ukuthi umuntu uyakufuna, ubona ngezenzo zakhe, mangabe ngisemsebenzini the way akubuka ngakhona, or mhlawumbe beniphumile for ama-drinks and stuff, uzombona sekafuna ukuzihlekisa lapho nawe, like akubuza ukuthi u-right or awukho right. Kuningi akupheli.
Sawubona msakazi, igama lami Surprise Shabalala sesishanguve. Umuntu mofuna ukumbona ukuthi yakufenza emsebenzini, uzombona ngezinto azenzayo like towards wena. Uzokutreata differently into yokucala, and then kwesibili uzokunika attention yakho, uzosifuna phambi kwakho every now and then, yabo. Then from there you can tell ukuthi umuntu yakufenza.
Sawubona msekazi, igama lami nginguNhlanyana wakaMahlangu. Uma ufuna ukubona ukuthi umuntu uyakufuna emsebenzini, owokucala ubona ngezenzo zakhe. Uyaye aziveze ngenye indlela, uthola kubuza ukuthi ingabe u-right na, ukhona into odinga ukuthi akuncede ngakho. Nembizo yakhe nayo iyakusho. Uthole kubuza ukuthi uhlalaphi, uhlala nobani, ingabe unaye na umuntu othandana naye. Uyaye akuncede ngezinto eziningi emsebenzini, uyaye a-texte, akhulume nawe ngama-WhatsApp, akufonele akubuza ukuthi ingabe ufike kahle na la uhlala khona. Sendela nama-message ekseni uyakuchecka, kanye nasebusuku naye uyakucheckisa.
Uhlala kubheka emehlweni, mawumbheka ubheka le, uyasifihla, ushayi around wena, thanda ukusmayela, into enye nenye mawikhuluma kuye iyahlekisa, uhlalahleka. So those are one of the signs zo lezi ungambona ngazo ukuthi uyakufuna.
Khumbula ke mbukeli ukuthi imibono lebese kudlalela yona ngeyababukeli kanti ke iSABC kanye noluphiko lwendaba angeke baphawula kakhulu ke ngeenkhonondo engaseke ziqubuke ngalo. Njengamanje ke mbukeli sibazuleka ababukeli besha izimvo zabo kanti sesochazeleka kabanzi ngalolu daba. Ukhona ke lapha ke e-studio uVictoria Mukwena. uVictoria Mukwena ke yena ke umeluleki ngokwengqondo. Sawubona Vic.
Sawubona.
Kunjani sisi? Sikamukele Ekhaya Jikelele. Sibonga ukuthi ube nathi namhlanje kuseni. Hayi namhlanje sixoxisana nge-topic interesting.
Very.
Sikhuluma ngama crush at the workplace. Like okokuqala nje mhlawumbe ake sichaze i-crush at the workplace ukuthi yini before siqhubekele phambili.
Okay, so i-crush at a workplace is when you develop feelings towards umuntu osebenza naye in the workplace. Yes. So in simple terms, you nje i-crush at the workplace.
Crush at the workplace. So manje ngokulalela nje for example lama views ababukeli lapha kade sibalalele. Ukuba ne crush emsebenzini nokuthi kube khona umuntu one crush nawe nisemsebenzini, is it necessarily a bad thing? Ngabe into embi?
It's not a bad thing.
Yes.
So maybe what you do about it can be a bad thing. But ukujabulela umuntu is generally not a bad thing on its own.
So for example, if you find yourself in a situation lapho ke uyithole usesimweni lapho sekukhona ke lo okukhangile ozizwayo ukuthi unemizwa mayelana naye noma ngaye, ikuphi okubuhlakani okusmart for you to do? Approach the person, tell them ukuthi hey listen hey umuhle ntanga or wenza njani?
Okay, so first things first, not all crushes need to end in a relationship.
Yeah.
So, maune crush on somebody, assess that first. Do you want it to be more than that? Because crushes, by definition, they are short-lived. So, do you want it to be more than just a crush? And after you have assessed that, then you ask yourself, why why are you into this person?
Yes.
If it's only work related, then ask yourself, is it worth it to pursue a personal relationship with this person? Ngoba sometimes sijabulela nje the way umuntu asebenza ngakhona or the way angakhona emsebenzini. Not necessarily ukuthi we want a long-term relationship with that person. So, and also another very important thing, company policy. What does your company policy say about ukuba nama relationship emsebenzini? So familiarize yourself with that before you go any further. And then if it's not against company policy, then you can address it. I don't like assumptions. Yes. So it's best to address it.
So mhlawumbe for example ama company policies nje ajwayele ukuthini maybe about dating in the workplace?
Most companies actually advise against it.
Yes.
Even though they don't make it illegal.
Yeah.
But they advise against it, and some companies can actually make it so that you jeopardize your job if you engage in relationships at work.
Yeah.
So make sure that your company is not against it. Ngoba ngisho asafunda ama contract.
So sasijayina ukusayina mfethu sibo. The only thing esuke sibheka lapho ukuthi nje kuthiwa malini ngithola malini.
Exactly. So familiarize yourself with things like that.
Okay. So ke uma ngabe ke ake sithi usugcina ke uya actor on imizwa yakho ke lena umuntu usuyamtshela ukuthi uzizwa kanje. Mhlawumbe wena njengomuntu if uyimina mhlawumbe ngiapproachwayo uyeza umuntu uzongiapproach ukuthi hey yazi manje this is how I feel about you and what mina like how do I respond ngendlela engezukumosha noma ke siqale ngesithi ibuphi ububi mapha ama disadvantages that will come with dating in the workplace?
Okay, so first things first, like I said in the beginning, sometimes you just like a person at work. You like them in their work form.
Yeah.
Because we are different people. So it might, the consequence of pursuing a relationship with that person might be that you realize after the fact that I actually don't really like this person. I just like how they speak at work, I like how they engage with people, I like the work that they do, but I don't necessarily want a relationship with them. And then another thing, professionalism in the workplace. So how do you maintain the professionality in the workplace? It's discussions that you need to have because it's one of the consequences that you might find that the workplace becomes a little less professional, you start crossing lines, things become blurry, especially if one is superior than the other.
Because when ngisazobuza ukuthi hey uyabona ngiyacabanga nje i-situation enzima ukuthi now what do you do if mhlawumbe umphathi wakho lo approachayo? It's somebody who's your superior, who's your senior, who's coming to you and saying, hey, listen, this is how I feel about you. And in that case, how do you deal with it? Because now, if ungathi hey, what if umsebenzi wami usazongifakela ina ama-shift we uyabona into enjalo. So how do you maneuver around that?
Okay, so first you after you assess company policy, I make emphasis on this because actually a lot of us don't know company policy.
We do not know.
So, you know, after you have assessed that, then you ask yourself if you want to pursue a relationship with the person.
Yeah.
Then you can think of the consequences of what pursuing the relationship is.
Yes.
And also, why are you pursuing the relationship? If you are pursuing the relationship
to have
with
a girlfriend,
your
I
boss,
want you to be my boyfriend, I want you to be my girlfriend.
So in the workplace, dynamics might be different than
Yeah.
that. They might be deeper than that because some people accept a relationship at work to make their work easier,
Yes.
especially if it's a superior. So if you are doing that, then you need to know that there will come a time when your superior needs to act like a superior.
Yeah.
And then what will happen
And
to
to the
your personal
relationship.
Exactly.
Yes. So, sengifuna ke manje siphume ngiyakubona lokho ukuthi it's a choice. Uyangishela ngiyakunqaba or ngiyakuvuma ne just as long as kungaphambene ne-company policy. All right? Asikubeke eceleni lokho. Now mase sifika to the sensitive part of this conversation. How do you then kuhlukaniswa kanjani phakathi kokuthi nje ngine crush nawe la emsebenzini nokuthi manje usuyangihlukumeza ngokocansi, sexual harassment? Because I understand that there's a thin line between ukuthi umuntu uthi kuye hey umuhle yazi ngiyakuthanda kunokuthi manje sekuyi sexual harassment. When does it become sexual harassment?
Okay, so we describe it as a thin line, but actually the line is not so thin. It's crooked.
Yeah.
Because some things are appropriate for other people, but they are not appropriate for other people. So for instance, a hug between two people of the opposite sex. For some people, that's acceptable to hug. But in some cultures and religions, it's not acceptable.
Yes.
So you need to educate yourself on the person that you are crushing on. What kind of culture and religion do they follow? Have you ever seen them interacting with people in the workplace? Do they always keep to themselves? And if so, then it means maybe they don't like people in their personal space. So those are like subtle advances that people make that can become sexual harassment. So you need to make sure that you are aware of how far this person is willing to go. And we can often see that, you know, when you hug a person for the first time, you know from then that this person doesn't
akathandi ukwangiwa lo muntu cha suthi ngokuzayo awuthi ngithi ukuhlehlisa indlela zami ngingabe ngisamanga manje sengikhulumela mhlawumbe ecaleni noma esayidini labantu besilisa. For example, ngizomention abantu besilisa because uma ngabe sibheka even nangama stats and stuff, kunabantu asebelahlekelwe imisebenzi yabo ngenxa lento esikhuluma ngayo ukuthi bebengekho educated, bebengafundisekile enough ngalezi zinto lezi. Yena nje mhlawumbe insizwa yale emakhaya esigodini sakubusuku sazothi nje wabona intombi yashela uthe idudla intombi wamuhle kwabanjani kanti usizothola somebody ongakuthandi lokho abese yahamba yo report and then it becomes a case and igcina usuluza umsebenzi wakho ekubeni wena ubungazi. Mhlawumbe ungathi imaphi uma ngabe sekuwenzeke kanjani lapho mhlawumbe usungahamba ke manje indaba bese uthi usuyoyi reporter.
Okay, so as a female counterpart, you need to express yourself. Into uma ngayithandi isho ukuthi lento le angithandi, and be clear about it, because another thing with us women is we send subtle messages and it confuses our counterparts. And so they don't know whether they've crossed the line or not, because today we allow it, and when we are not okay, we don't allow it. So as a woman, make sure that your boundaries are set and you keep them at that, and you also express yourself. So if somebody continues to do what they are doing after you have said that I don't appreciate this, then you know that, okay, now they are doing it intentionally, and so I can report it. It's not to say that you should accept sexual harassment and then only report it after you've spoken to them. Some forms of sexual harassment are so obvious that you can see that there's no way that this person does not know that they're harassing you right now.
Nanokuthi nje ngiyacabanga ukuthi kuba amacala anzinyana wona ukuthi athethwe ngoba manje it's your word against mine. Ngoba phela manje mase sifile lapha emahhovisi amakhulu, what if now kukhona we've seen, like for example with Emma Casey akhona ko social media ngize ngiwabalule manje abantu la umuntu uthe lo ungenza ukuthi bene kutholakala later stage ukuthi akakwenzanga lokho and all of that, ukuthi ezabaqashi ke ozabantu abaphethe ke manje bese kufika kubo lolu daba lokuthi ubani sexual harassile, then what's the process there? Kubaleka kangakanani ukwenza isiqiniseko sokuthi kwehlalwa phansi kuyatholakala ngempela ubungqina ngaphambi noma iproof ngaphambi kokuthi kuze kuthathwe isinqumo sokuthi mhlawumbe umuntu uyaxoshwa.
Okay, so in most instances, people who sexually harass people, they usually have a history of doing it. So if an employee is brought to you with accusations of sexual harassment, if it's not the first time, then even without evidence, you can make the deduction that it's most likely that they did it. And you can see how people conduct themselves emsebenzini. You know, some things, somebody can tell you somebody did something, and you can almost be certain that I don't think they would have done something like this. But also, to protect yourself as a woman or even as a man, have evidence from the beginning, even if angeke uyisebenzise at that time. But make sure that you have some sort of evidence so that when you do decide to take it further,
yes. So sengikuzwile kokucebisa mhlawumbe umuntu wesifazana ukuthi mhlawumbe ungabe umuntu ekhuluma nawe ngendlela ongayithandi or ekuthinta ngendlela ongayithandi uyasho ukuthi lalela bhuti ngicela ukuthi ungayiphindi uyenze lonto la ngiyithandi uyabona. So as umuntu wesilisa ke ungamcebisa ukuthi nabantu besilisa nje emsebenzini ukuze bayigade inkosi yami bangayitholi sebesesimeni lapho umuntu oselahlekelwe umsebenzi ngenxa yokwenza into abengayicabangeni ukuthi into enkulu.
Okay, so as a man, you should know your limits. So as a man, it doesn't mean ukuthi intombazana mayinhle you need to approach her.
Yes.
It doesn't always mean that. So know your limits as a man. Know how to control yourself. And also compliment in a way of just complimenting. It's okay. You know, it doesn't have to be. So you don't need to touch someone to show them that they're attractive. You don't need to use a sexual language. So when you compliment someone, it's not a crime. Compliment them in a way that you would like your sister to be complimented.
Your daughter.
Exactly.
Yes. Hayi cha siyabonga kakhulu ke sisi Victoria ngesikhathi sakho. Uyabona nje ngifundile likhulu mina from the conversation. Nawe mbukeli lapha ekhaya ngiyathemba ukuthi kukhona okuxoshile ngoba lolu udaba olubalekile. Uma ngabe ungowesifazane usemsebenzini, awuthandi indlela owesilisa osebenzisana kanye naye akhuluma naye ngawe, cha iba clear usho njalo Victoria. Iba clear usho ukuthi cha angikuthandi ukuthi ngisacethe ungaphinde kwenzeke. Nawe wena wesilisa abantu besilisa siyacethe nifundise ngokuyiphatha nanokuthi nje uyiphatha in general. How much more emsebenzini indawo yokusebenzela ukuthi nje let's keep things professionally sibenzisane kahle yonke into ukuze izohamba kahle. Sibonga kakhulu ke lowo bekudokotela Victoria ke obesichazela ke yena ungudokotela wezengqondo weluleka ngokwengqondo. Njengamanje kasiqu 8 olo sizobuya emva kwekhefu. Sikwamukele mbukeli ekhaya Jikelele kanti mangabe siqhubekela phambili nohlelo lwethu iqembu inkatha Freedom Party noma ke iIFP likhiphe istatement esithi uke waxinwa ukugula umntwana wakwaphindangene owundunankulu kaZulu umntwana uMangosuthu Buthelezi. iIFP ke ithina kuba eke waye esibhedlela kodwa akaguli kakhulu. Thina ke njengabantu abalandela isiko kanye nomlando nenhlalo nje kaZulu sixhumana nesazi ke sezomlando ubaba Ekhaya Ndwandwe sizobheka nje ukuthi kunomthelela muni ukugula kwembabazane emahaqa eyintweni eyithinta uZulu. Sikubingelele Ekhaya Ndwandwe sikwamukele ohlelweni sibonga kakhulu ngesikhathi sakho namhlanje.
Ngiyabonga dadewethu ukuthi ube kanye nami ngibingelele nababukeli bakhe emakhaya.
Ayi abantu banexhala manje nezinhliziyo seyiqala ukuba buhlungu njengoba phela kuvele indaba zokuqineka kwembabazane emahaqa. Ingabe kufanele yini ukuthi abantu bakhathazeke ekhaya?
Kufanele dadewethu asiqale nje sedlulisa amazwi ukuthi simfisela ukwelulama umntwana kwaphindangene lokhu uZulu ukuthi ukuthakathaka siyaqonda ukuthi ke usekhulile ngokweminyaka. Kufanele abantu bakhathazeke ngoba umntwana kwaphindangene dadewethu uyinsika yobukhosi noma uyinsika yesizwe sikaZulu. Uma ke zamazama insika endlini idluzelo yazi ukuthi ibisi ngabasabhalaza ngokuyikhona khona. Manje kufanele ke nesizwe sikhathazeke ngoba siyamfisela ukuthi elulame aqhubekele phambili. Uzokhumbula ngalenkathi kumenyezelwa igama lesilo sesihlalweni njengamanje indlula mithi. Inyosi ubaba uMdleke waze wathi ukubuya zenzela ube insimbi bezomelula aphinda eminye iminyaka futhi ngoba kuningi isizwe esiyadinga kuye okuma amazwi asho ubaba uMdleke lawo lapha kwakhangela ebusuku.
Yebo Khaya, istatement ke siqhuba sithi umntwana wakwaphindangene uphinde futhi wabuyiselwa esibhedlela. Hayi ke Ndwandwe sesingasho ukuthi ngempela ngabe isimo sibucayi.
Ngicabanga ukuthi ngenxa yokuthi umuntu osekhulile ngeminyaka angeke sibecayi ngoba uyinkosi. Inkosi uma ngabe idunguzela ngalolo hlobo sekucayi isizwa sitshelo. Kodwa lokhu kukhomba ukuthi ngumkhuhlane nje ozobuya ube khona. Namakhosi nje akithi laphana uma isimo sesiqayi akukhulunywa ukuthi inkosi idunguzela kangako ngoba ubona nje bekhipha lemibiko ukuthi ubuyele esibhedlela kusho ukuthi into esingathi nje ingumkhuhlane nje khona abangakuzwa kahle uma ngabe inkosi isidunguzela sikhumbula ukuthi uthe undunankulu kaZulu elilunga leParliament kodwa futhi uyinkosi yakwaPhelezi izinto zakhe ziqhutshwa ngokwesiko lobukhosi ngoba nje kuveza ukuthi uyagula akusiyona into eqinileyo kangako kodwa mase kuthiwa sekukubi angeke kubhedelwe emphakathini futhi khomba ukuthi umkhuhlane nje osengalungiseka.
Ake nje usichazeleke eNdwandwe ngokwenqubo nesiko kwaZulu kuyaye kwenziweni nje uma ngabe kudunguzela ingonyama noma ke inkosi kuyakushiswa impepho mhlawumbe ekukhulunywe nezithutha izinyanya zikaZulu kuze mhlawumbe balekelele.
Uma ngabe angithi kokuqala nje silungiselele igama inkosi ayiguli iyadunguzela njengoba ushilo uma ngabe idunguzela khona bakhona okuziyifihlo zasendlunkulu kunomkhandlu wawukhona lapha endlunkulu okuthiwa inkuqu lowo mkhandlu lowo iwona osukuhlanganise izindlu zasendlunkulu uyizifuba zasendlunkulu uma ngabe inkosi idunguzela ibona abahlanganayo ngokwenkolelo yakhona kukhona lo hamba ayokhuluma lapha emsamo ukuthi bosibani nathi ingane liyagula sicela niselulele yona bebheke ukuthi ngabe konakala lethu kulungiswe lokho amakhonteso esolekalayo bebatshele futhi uma khona likusolayo khulumani sikwazi ukulungisa kodwa ke azange ngingene lokho ngaphakathi indlela engazi ukuthi kwenziwa ngayo abantu okuyibona abazi du ilaba abantu abakuloya emkhandle kuthiwa inkuqu abayifuba sendlu yasendlunkulu akuyibona abazi noma inkosi yadunguzela ngisho abethu iyahamba khona indlela ongekuzazi senkosi abesathi sithi sifuna ukugana yibo laba abantu abazoqala abazi ngempilo yenkosi kusuka nokuhlala ibona ke ababa in charge dadewethu ukuthi ikuphi okwenziwa uma ngabe bethu inkosi yadunguzela.
Hayi sibonge kakhulu ke Ekhaya ngesikhathi sakho sifise siyathandaza bakithi engathi imbabazane emahaqi ngelulama ke esibhedlela iphile ngoba impela isizwe sakaZulu sisamdinga umntwana wakwaphinda ngene engathi ngalulama.
Nathi dadewethu siyamnxusa uNkulunkulu sombeka nasemkhulekweni sikhulekele nesizwe uqobo ukuthi alulama umntwana wakwaphinda ngene siyabonga.
Lewo ke mbukeli bekukhandwandwe oyincitha buchopho kaSomlando besixoxa naye lapha ohlelweni ngokudunguzela ke noma ngokugula kukamntwana wakwaphinda ngene. Njengamanje ngembukeli sesifike ekupheleni ke kohlelo lwakho lapha ekhaya Jikelele Breakfast Show sizobuya kodwa kusasa noMandla ngothi ngesikhathi esifanayo.
Unjalo Nox sibombe ngazibini kwigqiza lonke lekhaya Jikelele nawe apha ekhaya ngokuba ube nathi thina kaloku sinithanda ngothando luka love umuntu abe nosuku olufana nenhliziyo yakhe.
Nisale kahle.